What's up, guys? I'm BKFC athlete Paige Jansair, and you're watching Cage Side with Christopher James.
What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get Sausage Biscuit. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Go with the deuces. There you go, baby.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to KHR with Christopher James. I am Christopher James. Yo, what's up, baby? How y'all doing, man? Good to have you on board today, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about this afternoon's UFC on ESPN 20. We're going to talk about Max Holloway and what we should really think of the performance he put on. Was it the most impressive thing, or is there possibly something lacking in his game after landing 445 strikes and not putting his opponent away? We're also going to do a little preview of UFC 257. And I keep saying we, because when I say we, it's not just me. It's my dude. He is the fight analyst. He's awesome. He's not having a good day today, though, so he's a little grumpy. His picks didn't go as well as he wanted them to. Probably lost a little cheddar today. But you know what? He's got UFC 257 coming up on Saturday to make up the money. He's sitting in the green room right now and nodding his head like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm going to make that money. So let's bring him in right now. He is my man, my friend, the fight analyst. Everybody welcome Analyst Kerman to the show. GK, what's up, dog?
What's up, man? How's it going? Thank you for having me on tonight's show.
Oh, my God. Happy to have you here, brother. We got a good show coming your way. So before we get into all the Max Holloway and today's card and UFC 257, they announced today, they made it official in March, Usman versus Burns, Chimaev versus Edwards. I am so fucking excited. So what do you think of those announcements? It's finally good to hear. It's finally happening. People were talking about Edwards and Chimaev being the new, Ferguson and Khabib. I'm like, come on, man, stop it. They both caught COVID. This is a different thing, So one caught COVID, then the other guy caught COVID. So they both got it. It's knocked out of the way, so we shouldn't have that anymore from them. But give me your thoughts on both these fights, man, because they are important in the welterweight division.
I'm super fucking stoked. Burns and Usman's finally here. I heard some rumblings that February 13th was the date, but nothing was set in stone until, today. So I'm super stoked with that. Khamzat, Chimaev, and Edwards on top. Probably winner gets the next title shot, which is kind of crazy considering where Khamzat is in his, UFC career. Only 3 wins in. And he's possibly leapfrogging the entire division. So that's super exciting there. Leon Edwards is finally back. Hasn't fought in almost 2 years, I think.
Nuts, right?
So, I mean, it's exciting time for the welterweight division, especially you have Wonder Boy is still on the top of his game. You have Michael Chiesa and his amazing performance today. He's coming up. You still have Jorge Masvidal. You still have Kobe Covington. That division is absolutely stacked in the top 5, 6, 7 fighters. So I'm excited to see what happens in the future, in the very, very near future, in just a few weeks.
Yeah, and you mentioned that he might jump the line, and I don't know. He might not. He might beat Edwards, and that might move him up in the rankings. I don't know if they would put him next, because there's a guy named Michael Chiesa who had a fucking outstanding win today, and he wants Colby Covington. But I'm sure if the title shot came up to him, that he would be all right. I'll take the title fight. But he put on a good show today at the event UFC ESPN 20 in Abu Dhabi from the Etihad Arena on Fight Island, Yaz Island, if you will. That's where I am. I'm out there today. I was at the show, so you can see back here. I'm sitting outside on the beach doing the show today. Look, the octagon's behind me. We got shit going on. So, but I'm really excited. I think Chimaev wins this fight. I know a lot of people think it's premature, but the guy's got something special. He's Connor special. I mean, I hate to say it,
it's true.
but he's Connor special. And he's going to go out there and blow up in the media. He's going to go out there and kick people's asses.
Yep.
I am excited for the prospects of what this young man is going to bring to the UFC, because as much as everybody wants to see Connor and do this and do that, there's got to be somebody else coming up through the ranks that's going to be able to fill that void, because Connor isn't going to stick around forever. He's made so much fucking money. He came back now, and he's coming back this weekend, and he said he wants to fight 3 times this year, maybe 4. He wants to make a run at lightweight like he did at featherweight. So I don't know how that's all going to work out, but I do know that I am excited to see all of it. Everything that's going on with that, I'm excited about all of it. I hope Connor stays and fights 3 or 4 times this year.
Me too.
Chimaev, gets a couple, 3, 4 fights in this year.
Yeah,
and we have
3 or 4 paydays for us too, from a betting perspective. Because I said that's 3 or 4 times that we can cash bets on both Chimaev and Conor McGregor. So the more times they fight, the more money that we could possibly make. So I'm okay with it.
Well, and you're all about making that money, making that cheddar, making that life better, bitches. Yes. Hey guys, don't forget the show today, Cage Side with Christopher James, brought to you by our friends at Just Heart Apparel and Just Heart Apparel East Coast. My dude Andrew Sams, always looking out for the show. By the way, if you guys want to buy some Cage Side with Christopher James gear, you see I got the new lids. Nice. Got fancy shirts, so if you guys want to buy something, shoot me a message and I'll tell you how to cash out me the money, and then I'll send you some shit, yo. If you want to get some fight analyst gear, I don't know if Garrett's got any ready, but I'm sure if there's money to be made, Garrett will find a way to get you some gear.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Damn Skippy, motherfucker. So I was making fun of Garrett too, because he got wires hanging from his TV. I was like, dude, that looks so fucking shitty.
It is. Hey, I'm getting that shit fixed this weekend.
I know.
Leave me alone.
Every time you're on the show, I got to bust your balls about something. And listen, it's either bust your balls about the wires or bust your balls about your shitty picks today. Which one do you want?
I go with the wires. Let's keep.
All right, so we're gonna go with the wires. The wires suck, dude.
Let's keep going with the wires. I'm okay with that. Leave my picks alone.
All right, so a couple things I want to talk to you about. And we'll have a little conversation about it. Before we get into ESPN 20, I want to talk about Max Holloway. Max Holloway put on a show the other day and on Fight Island as well. UFC Fight Island 7. He went out there and he just went to work on Calvin Kattar. He landed 445 significant strikes. I sat there and I tabulated the numbers. 1,409 strikes were landed in that fight total of the event, right? So 964 by 19 fighters, 445 by Max Holloway.
That's
insane. He landed like 33.8% of the strikes for the whole event.
That's insane.
But he didn't put Kattar away. Now, I said that while it was a phenomenal performance, I'm not shitting on Max's performance. So before anybody goes, "Oh, you're shitting on Max," I'm not shitting on Max. I love Max, one of my favorite fighters, man. Excuse me. I was there in Toronto when he beat up Anthony Pettis and got that interim title, and so I'm a big fan. I love the way the guy fights. I love his attitude, but it said something to me. So yeah, he's landing a bunch of punches, and some of them were very impactful and damaging. And he, Kattar's hurt. He's going to be out for a little while, but the accumulation is what did it. So should we be overwhelmed with that crazy performance and expect it all the time, or should we be underwhelmed and say, you know what, Max couldn't finish that fight? And the reason I'm saying that is because Dana White said he has to absolutely get another shot at Alexander Volkanovski, which is a champ who Max has lost to twice. Doesn't matter if you think Max won the second fight. Doesn't matter if I think Max won the second fight. Max didn't win the second fight. So for anybody that's watching, if you want to make that commentary that Max won the second fight, I'm not even going to entertain it. Max lost. That's what the judges said. That's the way it goes. We don't have to like it. You don't even got to agree with it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what any of us say, because I'm not the judge. Garrett's not the judge. None of you motherfuckers are the judge. Get that shit right. All right. So Max lost that fight. So Max is 0-2. So rebooking that fight for a third time, it's going to take something special. Apparently, this performance was special. But Max is not going to get, because Max didn't get off like this against Alex. I don't see Max getting off like this against Volkanovski in the third fight. Not saying Max won't win, but it really made me. I sat back and wondered. First of all, I was blown away by the whole thing. I was sitting there going, wow, I'm watching the fight. I'm going, oh my God. People are yelling, stop the fight. Daniel Cormier must have yelled, stop the fight 45 times. I also agree with the referee not stopping the fight because in spite of the accumulation of punches that Kattar was eating, he was fighting, defending himself, staying in the fight, landing punches, even big punches all the way through all 5 rounds. He was landing good, significant strikes. Nowhere near the amount that Holloway landed, but he still was landing strikes, and he has to, you have to give him some credit for his chin. But so I just spit out a lot of shit at you, man. So there's a lot to unpack there. So let's get into it. Pick one of the areas I spoke about, and let's break it down.
As far as that performance, I think it was a phenomenal performance. I know he didn't put Kattar away, but do we not give him props for breaking history in the record books? Do we not give him props? I mean, we gave him props when he fought Brian Ortega and beat the crap out of him just as bad. We give him props when he beat Frankie Edgar. Not as bad, but he dominated him, but he didn't finish him. I mean, there's been times where Max has dominated opponents and hasn't finished them, but we still thought he was a dominant champion because he's a great, great fighter. He actually outlanded Dustin Poirier at 155 pounds. Whether he won the fight or not, that's a different story because he didn't. But he still
when he fought Dustin. So when he fought Dustin, he landed more strikes than Dustin.
Correct,
but
he didn't win. He did not win
again. And here's the thing, which leads to my side of the argument. Max is not finishing guys, and when you he's not
a finisher. He's not a power.
When you land that kind of volume, man, especially with some of the power that he was landing, you got to finish dudes. I mean, you have to finish guys. In my opinion, I'm just saying.
I mean, you got Wonder Boy outstriking his opponents. He's not finishing everybody. But do we not give him the credit for where credit's due? I'm talking about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Like, he doesn't finish all of his opponents, but he goes out there and dominates them. He dominated Jeff Neal. He dominated Vicente Luque, but he didn't finish either one of them, but he dominated them. But we're not talking about this with Max Holloway, but I just think even though he didn't get the finish, he has to get credit where credit is due. But whereas the flip side is people are talking about, if this Max Holloway showed up against Alexander Volkanovski, he would have won flying colors. And I'm like, you guys are crazy because it's the same exact Max Holloway. It's not like he just changed his whole game plan. This is the same Max Holloway that fought Volkanovski. People will be like, no, it wasn't. But it was. He didn't throw enough volume because he couldn't throw enough volume because
Volkanovski was throwing kicks and keeping Max at bay.
Exactly. He can't keep coming forward. He attempted 8 or 9 takedowns in that fight. He was throwing over 20 leg kicks every single round. So he can't just come forward and just throw at will because he has to attest for the leg kicks. His leg is getting beaten up. He has to attest for the takedowns because then he's going to get taken down. And the takedowns is what helped, slow down Max in the later rounds because he started to gas out, having to get up from takedowns, defend the takedowns. He's getting his leg beaten up. So he's starting to slow down as the rounds progressed. And that's where Volkanovski was able to take over rounds 4 and 5. If they fight again, I don't know who would be the winner, but it would be another close fight. Max wouldn't run away with it. Volkanovski wouldn't run away with it. It would be another extremely close contested fight, just like the first two.
Yeah, I hate to say it because, like I said, I like Max. He's one of my favorite guys to watch fight. But I don't know if the result is going to be different if he fights Volkanovski again. And I think, him beating Kattar, and I honestly think Max has to fight somebody else before he even gets a title shot. They have to make it, let's look at it like this. Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor, right? Conor McGregor knocked him out in 14 seconds. They both threw the same punch. Conor just landed flusher and faster. Now, because they built that fight up twice, because there was a huge lead up and then it got canceled before they actually fought. Because of that, and at that point, Aldo was the longest reigning featherweight champion. He still has the most title defenses. So I also get insulted when people say Max is the best featherweight we've ever seen. Until he eclipses what Aldo does or has done, he's not. Period. That's my thing. I'm not changing my mind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. But they didn't give Aldo the rematch because they said they couldn't build that fight again. Such a short notice, on such, right, turn it around. So I kind of feel Max is in the same predicament. He has to go out there and win another fight, and he has to go out there and win it the way he just did. Go out there and put on an impressive show, beat the guy up and land, 1,000, 1,500 more punches than him. Don't finish him, though, because that's not what you do. And then, maybe book him against Alex again. And that is if Alex retains against Brian Ortega. I'm sure somewhere in the back of Max's head, Holloway's going, I hope Brian Ortega wins because I can go in there with Ortega. I've already beat the shit out of him. And I don't care what Max says publicly about fighting him a third time. When you lose to a guy twice, it's in your head. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with it. But, it's going to be there. So, you're going to, put undue pressure on yourself. So I feel like if Ortega beats Volkanovski, which quite possibly could happen, that Max is probably quietly rooting. You can go, dude, it's a fight.
Anything can happen. You're right. Anything could happen. You're right.
So, and Ortega's not a slouch. I'm not even a fan of Ortega getting this fight right now either.
I neither am I.
They're trying to, I almost feel like they're going to try to do with him what they did with Cody Garbrandt, give him special treatment when, because they're trying to push him. When Cody got knocked out by TJ,
and he
got an immediate title shot rematch.
That was ridiculous.
That was fucking stupid, dude. You were the champion for 4 minutes and you got clean fucking knocked out, bro. You shouldn't have gotten a title shot again. But then you lost again, and now they're talking, he's just coming back, and now they're going to try to book him in a title fight at 125. Sorry, dude. I know you had an impressive win in your last fight and your first fight back, but neither title should be anywhere near him because he lost 3 fights in a row before he got that last win. The matchmaking, sometimes they do it for the wrong reasons.
Entertainment purposes. That's why. Whoever puts money in their pocket and people
I know
seats.
Doesn't mean
that's super unfortunate because people are fighting the right way and fighting their way up the rankings, and then people get opportunities before other people. And that's how they do it.
I mean, look how long it took Max to get a title shot. How many wins did he have to string together?
I think it was like 7 or 8, right?
Two. No, it was like 9 or 10 fights or something like that before fights or something like that in a row before he got a title shot. And it's like, okay, but he beat up everybody in the division on the way up.
Yeah, he did.
Ortega hasn't accomplished that. Nope. So again, and Garbrandt didn't accomplish that.
Nope.
So Garbrandt beat a couple of guys, but he didn't beat any of the big studs to get his title shot when he fought Dominic. He beat Dominic clean. I mean, it was a good fight, for Cody. I was really surprised at that one. So my final evaluation of Max Holloway is he's an animal. He's a savage. He's going to go out there and just, overwhelm you with volume. But I'm a little underwhelmed at the fact that he didn't finish the fight. I know he doesn't have a big history of finishing, but when you unleash that much volume on somebody, you have to finish as far as I'm concerned, because you just do. That's my opinion on it. I guess, it doesn't, and everybody can have their opinion on it. That's mine. I feel like he has to finish. So, and, he probably won't, but whatever. What about the stoppage? We were talking the other day. You felt it should have been stopped. I said, absolutely not, because Kattar was fighting the whole time. And, you looked in his eyes, dude, all through the fight. He was in the fight. You can look at his eyes and see it. So you can't stop the fight. You're taking away his opportunity.
Yeah, but the thing is, in boxing, you would stop that fight. Period.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't. No, it's happened. It's happened even worse than that. Like, to the point where it's not even as bad, a cumulative damage, and you still stop the fight. We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again in boxing. And if that was a boxing match where a guy's getting beaten and bloodied as bad as Kattar did, that fight would have been stopped probably like 2. At least
no, because if Kattar was boxing and that fight was going on like that, Kattar was still fighting back, and that's the thing. Kattar was in it. He never lost fucking focus. He never lost consciousness. He got nailed a few times, but he was in the fight the whole time. Again, he was landing big strikes every round. He landed some big strikes on Max and he was working. but Max's volume made it look like fucking he wasn't. I mean, oh, excuse me, getting over a little bit of a cold. I mean, let me break this back here for you for a second here, because Holloway Qatar. I mean, Qatar threw 300 punches in that fight. Max threw 750. Qatar landed 135, 134 punches. And per round, if we're looking at the numbers, these are numbers that are fucking respectable. 25, 20, 30, 35, 27. Every round. You know what I'm saying? So he was landing in the 20s and the mid 20s up into the 30s through every round. Now, granted, Max was doubling him up in every fucking round. In round 4, he landed 141 punches.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
Yeah. But
wow.
And what I get killed with too is what they call significant strikes. I don't know if they were all significant.
But he landed 140 strikes, whatever.
Yeah, he landed in round 4. Max landed 141 punches. That's more than Kattar landed in the whole fight. But Kattar's numbers, 133 punches landed on an opponent, is kind of a little bit above the average of what a fighter lands. So he was working the whole time. He was just getting outworked. But again, his head was in the fight the whole time. He was fighting hard the whole time. He just got outworked. So taking that fight away from him because he was getting beat up. It's a fight. It's a fucking fight. You don't stop the fight. I mean, the thing I brought up to you the other day when we were talking. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing the fucking New York Jets, and the Jets are, and I use the Jets because we suck as a team. So the Buccaneers are playing the Jets. Buccaneers are up fucking 42-0 at halftime. Does the referee have the right to say, you know what, man, you guys are never going to make a way back. You're not going to win. Let's just call the game at the half. And the answer to that question is no, that doesn't happen, because you can't take away the opportunity. And unless the Jets were dead, with Sam Darnold having a gun shoved in his fucking mouth and blown his head off, and, you can't stop it. So, yes, they're different sports, but the premise is the same. The official should never, ever take the opportunity away.
I don't think,
as long as the fighter is intelligently defending himself, and Kattar was doing that. I think everybody that said that they should have stopped the fight, I think all those people are pussies.
I don't know about that, man, because you're talking about.
I just said you're a pussy, Garrett.
You can say it all you want, but you're talking about.
I still love you though.
Even if you're like intelligently defending yourself, you're still getting your shit rocked. You're getting getting growing CTE at every second of him landing a punch on you.
I agree.
I
posted up during the fight. I posted during the fight, and I said, I'm watching Kattar get CTE live before my very eyes.
And it's not about him protecting himself. It's more so the ref protecting Kattar from himself. He's got a chin for days, and we've seen that. It's more so, protecting him from getting even more badly hurt and prolonged in his career. Like, he's going to be out a while. Like, it will be surprising if we see him come back to training in less than 6 months. That could have been prevented by the ref stepping in and be like, you know what, this dude is beating the shit out of you. You literally are getting beaten and bloody to a pulp, to the point where we can't even recognize him. It was that bad. His mouth was wide open.
You can recognize him. I recognize him the whole fight.
He was bleeding. His nose was all fucked up. His face was swollen. I mean, he looked bad. If you look at side by side for what he looked like pre-fight to during the fight or after the fight, you were like, it's two totally different people. I mean,
he looked like he got his ass kicked.
Exactly.
That's called fighting.
Very bad.
He knows the inherent risk going in, like all the other fighters do.
Yes,
and again, as long as he's intelligently fighting back, you can't stop the fight.
It doesn't. But the ref is there not just be like, okay, he's fighting back. He's throwing punches and eating a ton of punches, but he has to save him from further longevity of his life in there. That's the whole point the ref is supposed to do, other than just, he's throwing punches back. It's okay. But that's not the case. He wasn't just throwing punches back. He was eating about 8 to 10 punches to 1 or 2 strikes that he would throw. I mean, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I just think sometimes the ref has to step in and and help these damn fighters out, because sometimes they're too tough for their own good. And Cater was too tough for his own good. In that case, he had a chin on him. He wanted to go down, and kudos to him because he's an absolute stud. He's a warrior, and he put on a great fight. But I didn't want to see him get badly beaten the way he did. I think that was just bad for the ref, and I don't want to see that happen to a fighter. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, well, just because you didn't want to see it happen doesn't mean it shouldn't be allowed to happen, and that's the point. He's a fighter. He goes in there to fight, knowing that he might get his ass kicked. He might get a broken bone, a broken limb. Fuck it. He might get put to sleep. He might get all pieced up, which he did, but he knows that going in, they all do. So just because it isn't easy to watch on the eye sometimes, it should have no bearing on his ability to continue to try to do his job. Cater has enough power that if he lands flush on the temple, you're going to sleep. He never quite landed that flush on the temple because fucking Max's head movement and footwork was fucking on fire display. But Cater was working. So,
if you think about it this way, remember that that boxer that recently died after a fight because of the damage that he took? That is a prime example as to why some refs step in to stop a fight before it keeps going any further. And that ref stopped the fight too late, to the point where, unfortunately, a boxer died from brain damage. And that's something I don't want to see happen to any fighder.
Of course. I don't want to see that happen either. But I think Ivan Drago said it best when he fought Apollo Creed. If he dies, he dies.
That's terrible.
Listen, but again, and I'm not trying to make light of a fighter dying, because God forbid, I want all these guys to be safe. I always tell guys, I don't, especially guys I know, I said, I don't care if you win or lose. I just want you to be able to walk out of the octagon or the ring or the cage under your own power.
Right.
It doesn't always happen. And these guys know that. We don't want to see a fighter die in the octagon or in a cage. We don't want to see him die in a ring or anything. But again, this is a sport that is based on violence.
Right.
And this violence can cause damage and, possibly death. You can get crocked once and right on the temple and get your brain rattled, and that could kill you. You can get your head snapped back so far your neck breaks from 2 or 3 punches, and that can kill you. So, again, while I don't want to see anybody die, it's something that is almost part of the culture, that there's a possibility, and the possibility of death in a fight isn't huge. You know what I mean? And we all know that already.
Yeah.
But there's this much percentage that you could die. And yet these guys all go in there willing to do it, guys and men and women. I'm sorry, that I'm not honoring Congress, but I say men and I say women, I say boy and I say girl. So, because that's what it is. So, I understand people why, visibly it was hard to watch and stomach. But, again, I used to be a big fan of Herb Dean's. I'm not a big fan of Herb Dean's anymore, but Herb Dean did his job right that night in that fight. So hats off to Herb for letting this guy go out there and try to earn his win and stay in the fight. But, and we could beat this dead horse all day. My opinion isn't going to change, and your opinion isn't going to change, although it should, because I have the right opinion, you have the wrong one. But that's another story for another show. So we're going to roll on for the Max Holloway thing. I just wanted to chat with somebody about it. And, if you guys out there watching have any comments about it, pop them up on the screen. If I like your comment, I'll respond. If I don't like it, I won't say shit. Oh, by the way, Forrest Daniels watches. He's got a fat bowl of some sticky icky that he's smoking just for the show today. My dude, that's what I'm talking about. So let's move on to UFC on ESPN 20. I got to go back one thing here. Clickety click, click, click. All right. So 14 fights today. I went 8-6 on my picks. I don't know how many fights you bet on. First fight of the night, and the early part of the card, except for a couple fights, we're kind of just going to roll through. But Manon Fiorot versus Victoria Leonardo. I took Leonardo to win that fight. I thought she was going to. Let me tell you something. This girl Fiorot, what a fight this girl put on, man. She gets the KO in the second round, KO TKO. You don't see a lot of that in the women's division, and this girl really put on a performance today. I believe today was her UFC debut, and she went out there and she took full advantage. She grabbed the bull by the horns. By the way, Forrest went 11-3, and he picked 2 fights perfectly. He just wanted to rub that in your face.
I think he did. Fucking bastard. All the time.
He's good at picking fights. He's probably the most consistent guy I know. More consistent than anybody. I mean, fucking, and he's not doing it to bet, man. Maybe we should have him fucking consult.
Maybe.
He could be your assistant. So, what were your thoughts on that first fight with Madden and Victoria?
Well, that was one of my best picks on the night because
hey, we picked the winner.
that was my strongest pick on the card as well. I knew she was going to go in there and absolutely dominate Victoria because Victoria doesn't know how to strike, as we've seen. She's pretty bad at striking. She normally has to bully her opponents into the mat in order to win. Chelsea Hackett was actually landing well against her on the Contender Series, but Hackett, only 3-0 pro MMA fighter, showed her weaknesses, which was her takedown defense. And, Leonardo took full advantage, something she couldn't do here against a much bigger, much stronger Fiorot. She's a great kickboxer. She's got a ton of amateur background. She's now 6-1. She was a UAE Warriors champion. I forgot another South African regional promotion champion as well. I knew coming in she had the full advantage pretty much anywhere this fight took place, and it showed. She is a force at 125 pounds. I really want to see her against a strong grappler to see how her takedown defense is really tested, but she's arguably one of the best strikers in the division right now, bar none. One of the best strikers in that division, and you've seen it. She's got really good distance striking. She looks kind of she looks like the female version of Wonder Boy, using those side kicks, the oblique kicks. Very, very good, and she's got some really nasty power behind her punches. Yeah. So I'm the sky's the limit for her. I think she's going to surge up that 125-pound rankings because of the fact that it's such a shallow division. She could be in the top 15 by the end of the year for certain.
Yeah, she could be, So, and yeah, she did a great job tonight. But I got to see more from her. It's the first fight in. They definitely put her in there.
I want to see against a really good grappler.
And Leonardo is a good grappler, but this was a favorable matchup for her.
It was.
But we move on. Next fight, Umar, the younger cousin of Umar Nurmagomedov, the cousin of Khabib, taking on Sergey Morozov. Rear naked choke submission in the second round. Kind of what we expected. He got a performance of the night bonus for that. I don't think he deserved a performance of the night bonus. I think Ike Villanueva later on the card should have gotten that bonus instead of him. Because Warley Alves got a bonus, and I felt Ike's knockout was better.
Oh, yeah.
Straight, cold, clean. He should have gotten that 50K over fucking Nurmagomedov. I don't really have too much to say about this because I expected this. Nurmagomedov is 13-0. He comes from that camp. You know what he's going to do, and he goes out there and does it. Will he be able to go out there and do that against the elite in the division? We shall soon see. Will he be the second coming of Khabib? Could be. I don't know. Thoughts?
I think it was impressive. Obviously, it wasn't the elite competition, but he showed off his all-around skill set. His striking looked clean and crisp, better than I would say his cousin Khabib over there. But his grappling looked just like Khabib's, but obviously not the same level, But still overly impressive, and his opponent looked good too. So you can't really take anything away from his opponent. I hope he gets another shot in the UFC because I think he can really make some waves as well. His striking looked really good too. Obviously, he went against. They went
to the second round. The guy landed 7 strikes, dude. I'm not overly impressed with any kind of striking when you tell me he landed 7 strikes. That was a total he landed for the whole fight.
Yes, but he still had his moments. He's not a terrible fighter. That's what I'm trying to get at. There are
7
fighters,
strikes in 2 rounds, dude. You
but
can't
there's
can't highlight
fighters
the guy
worse than
striking
him.
for 7
There's
punches in 2
fighters,
rounds.
there's fighters worse than him on the roster, period. And there's fighters on the roster, 135 pounds, that wouldn't probably land one strike against Nurmagomedov. So let's just hold the brakes there. The dude
Well,
still
dude,
fought
listen,
well.
Nurmagomedov is not a striker, but a good striker will go in there and fucking land on him before he gets the takedown. So a good striker, a guy that lands more than 7 strikes in a 2-round fucking fight.
You still
Just
can't
say
take anything away from the man. Okay,
Huh?
you still can't take anything away from him. I still think he deserves another
Dude,
chance.
you can't give him credit for 7 strikes and call it, oh, I was impressed with the striking. He
I
threw
guarantee-
7, dude, he landed 7 strikes. How
Okay.
can you be impressed with that, dude?
Because he looked good. He
Stop
looked
it.
good. He looked
I'm
good.
done with
Even
you.
with 7 strikes, he still looked good.
That's why you had bad picks today, because you're making comments like this. This is what happens.
Hey, I bet on Nurmagomedov. It doesn't mean anything. I still think Morozov did. I think he did well. Did
All
better
right.
than I thought he did.
We can't even talk about this fight anymore. I'm done with you on this one. Horrible fucking commentary, bro. Fucking, I hate you, but I love you. Mike Davis, Mason Jones, fucking what a goddamn fight. Mike Davis is my dude. I love that guy. I've been with him since the beginning of his career. I've announced so many fights. The only other person to announce him in a ring is fucking Bruce Buffer. Mike is like my little brother that went away to college. That's how I feel about him. You know, he worked his way up the regional scene, and then he went away to college, and college is the UFC. Last year was horrible for him, broken ribs, an infection in his face, had to pull out of the Giga fight, got hit by a fucking car while he was on his bicycle. I mean, got kicked out of his house. Everything that could have went wrong for him did. He came back tonight, and he put on a fucking, fight of the night performance because him and Mason took home that money.
He deserved that shit.
Fight.
He deserved that 50K bonus. Holy shit.
Like I'm sitting there right now thinking about that fight, and I'm getting tired because I was, and mind you, I was watching that fight this morning. I worked all night last night. I didn't get home from work till 7 a.m, and I went to work at 7 p.m. So I get home at 7 a.m. I come home, do a few things around the house. Fight start. I got to stay awake to watch the fights, and do my shit. And my wife is in the bedroom sleeping, so I had to watch this fight with the volume a little lower than I like, and I couldn't fucking jump up and yell. So I was restrained. I almost fucking thought I was going to get a hernia. I was so restrained. Fucking, because I was just digging it, man. Fucking, and man, so proud of Mike, man. He put on a show. And it's funny. Mike got outstruck in the fight.
Yeah, but he's the one that landed the much
Absolutely
harder strikes, much harder, much harder.
Oh, much more significant point scoring strike.
Exactly.
So we had Khabib's cousin, right? And then in the next fight after Mike Davis and Mason Jones, and there's not really much to say about Mike and David. Congratulations to both of them. They both put on a show. Mason Jones is going to be trouble for a lot of guys in that division.
Yes.
At 155. Mike is probably going to try to make the cut back down to 145, where he's been wanting to get to every time he gets there. But something happens, and I want to see him compete at 145 because that would be fucking epic.
You think he's going to back down? Is that what he said?
Yeah, he wants to be at 145. He hasn't got a chance to fight at 145 in the octagon yet, and he's so lean. He walks around probably about 165 on a regular. But he'll blow up a little bit after a fight, but probably 165, 170 to get down to 155. But he could get to 145. The only problem for him I see getting to 145 is cutting the water isn't going to be a problem, but he's not got nothing else to cut because he's all muscle.
Yeah,
so there is no fat to cut. So the cut to 145 is going to have to be carefully orchestrated by somebody that really knows what they're doing. A guy like Tyler Minton, who I fucking respect the fuck out of. He's Khabib's weight guy. He's Daniel Cormier's fucking nutritionist. This guy gets it done, and he gets it done where you fucking are healthy and right. And I honestly believe for somebody that's in Mike's physical shape to get to 145 the right way, he needs a guy like that in his corner to get him there. So we'll see. I want to see him get his shot at 145 and see what he can do. Next fight coming up, Francisco Figueiredo, the brother of the champ, Davison Figueiredo, taking on Jerome Rivera. This fight went to decision. And here's another case where Rivera outlanded Figueiredo, but Figueiredo was just so much more in the fight. He did all the things you have to do to win a fight, even though, And the striking difference only like 2 or 3 strikes. I mean, it wasn't like,
Yeah.
a phenomenal difference. But everything he did in that fight was exactly what you need him to do. When you look at the fight, I mean, he dispersed his punches very well, between the head, the body, and the legs, kicks, from the distance, from the clinch. The takedowns were fucking phenomenal. He landed 4, I think, out of 5 or 4 out of 6 on the takedowns. So everything you wanted to see in a fighter, the well-rounded stuff that you need to see, Figueiredo brings. Don't know if he'll be like his brother at the end of the day, but man, again, here's another cat who's fucking, family ties, and he delivers on the big stage.
Right. As far as that goes, I mean, he looked like his brother, which is kind of crazy. Other than looks, I'm talking about like fighting style as well.
Yeah.
They fought very similar, same type of stance. They both are loading up on that right hand, ready to counter. His grappling looked really good as well. Cardio, they both have cardio issues. So I think that runs in the family. As
Memory DNA.
Yeah, it's like they both have cardio issues. But as far as Rivera goes, man, that dude has been underwhelming in all 3 fights in the UFC Contender Series fight, where he arguably could have lost that fight. He looked absolutely terrible against Nam, getting deaded there, and then he didn't look good against Figueiredo into the 3rd round when Figueiredo was completely gassed. So I know. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get cut just yet. I think he's going to get cut. I think that 3rd round may have saved him just for one more fight, but I'm hoping they save him for one more fight so I can fade him and bet against him as much as I can in that last fight, because he is not UFC caliber whatsoever. He doesn't know how to use his range and his distance at all, and majority of the time he has the reach advantage. He has no idea how to fight behind his jab. He gets taken down. He just doesn't know how to fight really well. So I'm looking to fade him. So I'm hoping to give him one more shot so I can make some money against him.
All right. Well, that's cool. I like your reasoning for that. Next, we move on to the middleweight division. Marcus Perez, Dalcha Luna Gumbula. I love this Dalcha kid, man. I think when he really figures out fighting, people are going to get fucked up. He looked good in there tonight. He goes out and gets a unanimous decision against, Marcus Perez. Marcus Perez is no slouch, and the striking numbers, pretty close to each other. He only ended 1 takedown, but he controlled the fight.
Right.
He really looked like he was in charge. I mean, Marcus landed some strikes in the 3rd round. I think, where he outlanded him, but the other 2 rounds, I mean, they were close. But even in losing that 3rd round, Dalcha still looked like he was the guy that was winning the round to some degree. You know what I mean? There's something about the way this guy fights. His footwork is good. He needs to learn how to fight behind his jab as well. He was putting everything into every punch. And when you're as big and muscular as he is, that's going to eat oxygen. I was surprised that he stayed in cardio. The cardio lasted for him because he's so explosive and he just wants to fucking spring like, a coiled fucking snake with every punch. If you're going to continue to fight like that, you're going to end up getting more L's on your record than W's. And this guy has a lot of natural raw talent. Somebody just needs to hone it for him. And I think he'll be a fucking dangerous threat in that division.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the dude's a fucking powerhouse. He's built like a damn ox, and now he's at 185 pounds. So there's not many people that are built like that at 185 pounds. I would like to see him versus Buckley. That would be a crazy fight. But
Buckley the other day, I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate, but it'd still be a good fight if we see them later down the road. But after Dalcha changed camps to Extreme Couture, I believe he's out working with Eric Nixick. They really did some wonders with him. I think he looked more composed. He did better in his grappling. He just looked all around a better fighter, especially at the newly minted weight class for him. I heard that he was looking like he was going to pass out after the first round on the stool, that Eric needed to help him learn how to breathe on the stool because he wasn't breathing.
Yeah, they were talking about that. I was like, holy shit. But I think it was Paul Felder saying, it might have been DC, talking about how he holds his breath till he explodes when he's punching.
Right.
When they said that, then I started watching, and I think they nailed it on the head. He's holding his breath he's breathing, but he's kind of holding in. Then when he fucking comes out and he fucking releases, like us, they kind of were like poking fun at Sarah Moras because she kias after every fucking fight, breathing out on the thing, kia, 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 but she's doing nothing with it. This guy could do something with his punches, but he has to fucking learn to fucking set it up. He has to learn to work behind his jab and use his distance, use his strikes, his leg strikes to get him some of that, space that he needs to fucking then come inside and rip your fucking head off.
The crazy thing is he has the longest reach of anyone that's 5'8" in the entire UFC at 76 inch reach. So he's 5'8", which is around my height, but the dude has a 76 inch reach. That's unheard of. So
insanity.
So he has the reach advantage on majority of his opponents. So if he could just work, like you said, work behind that jab, that power hand of his, that right hand's gonna land and put people away like it's nothing.
Yeah. Next we got Sue Majuria and Zaruka Adashev. I took Adashev to win this fight. I felt he was going to go out there and put on a show. In the second round, he had a better round than he did in the first, but this other kid, this fucking, fucking Mudarji or Mudarji, I can't even say his name.
Sue Mudarji.
Mudarji, thank you. The Tibetan Eagle.
Yeah, that kid's good.
He's good, man. It's hard to believe too that these guys are what, fucking 125 or 135 or something like that. Fucking
125, yeah.
He's huge. What is he, like 6'2" or 6'1"?
No, not even close. He's like 5'9", 5'8",
Sue?
5'9". Yeah, that's it.
So then what is Adashev, like 5 foot?
He's like 5'5", 5'6".
Jesus Christ, because it looked like fucking, a 6 foot guy fighting a fucking, a little person.
Yeah, and he had like a 7-inch reach advantage too.
He's going to be dangerous in that division at 125 pounds. Yeah. He just looks like, oh my God, fucking, he's going to be hard. He's got some work to do still, a few things he's got to work on as well. He's still young at this, but man, put on a great show tonight. Showcased a really good striking game. Also showcased a good fight IQ because he wasn't allowing Adashev to get into his groove. He was keeping him at distance and keeping him at bay. And his head movement was really good. I was really impressed with the way he was moving his head off the center line because there were a few shots where Adashev was coming in and, it was almost like he was trying to roll with it, but he didn't even connect because Zoo was like,
yeah,
He's
really good. Really, really good.
Ricky Simone.
Ooh, my
Morello. Fuck yeah.
Ricky.
Arm triangle submission in round 2. He went out there and he just reminded everybody what the fuck he can do.
Exactly.
I was fully impressed with him. I've been impressed with him a lot. I mean, he's fought some really killers in the division. That's where a couple of his L's come from, but he's a fucking beast, dude. And he's somebody that has to be, taken seriously. He looked so good today. He dominated with the grappling and his wrestling. He said in his post-fight interview, he goes, man, I'm a brown belt, and now I'm going to start submitting motherfuckers.
Yes, that's what we want to hear. No more just laying and praying. Beat them to shit. Take them down. Sub their asses off. I mean, the dude has it, and I've been saying this for a while. I've been following him for years. I actually sponsored him years ago. I've been on this man's hype train for a while, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy for him. And he deserves another crack in top 15. I mean, look at the guys he's lost to. Uriah Faber, and now the number 4 ranked bantamweight, Rob Font. That's it. That's the only 2 losses. He's even beat Merab Dvalishvili, someone who no one
out fucking worked him, which is fucking nuts because that guy's a machine.
Exactly. He put him to sleep. He was literally choked out purple. I mean, no one's done that at all. So, I mean, let him get another top 15 opponent, or beat, who his original opponent was. Let him go against Brian Kelleher again and beat him, and then give him a top 15. He deserves it. He
called out boom. He said fucking business is booming. I like the call out. So hopefully we'll get that fight.
I hope so. Very, very soon. It looks like he's fresh, and hopefully we can get him back in there in the next 3 months. I hope.
Yeah, I definitely want to see him get back in there. He's looking good. I think he's about to really go on a run.
He is.
It felt like he was hitting his stride, really putting everything together that he needs to do to be
Right.
top-notch competitive against the elite. And I think he has to be deemed elite.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
And then, after the change of, it's not really a change of camps. Now he's working with Team Oyama down in California. I think he's really, Colin Onyama has worked wonders with Ricky Simone, and I think the sky's the limit for him. He's worked tremendously with him. He's now progressed a ton. Like I said, with that arm triangle, that's normally not what Ricky would do. He would not go and hunt for the submission. Normally, he would just go in there and just ground and pound and control. But nope, he saw the submission. He went for it, and I was very happy with him and his performance. And I really want to see him back in there very, very soon.
And he landed that submission with his legs still caught between the legs of his opponent.
Right. He had a half guard. You know how hard it is?
He was still caught in half guard, which is, you don't see that finish a lot unless you get fully off the side of your opponent's body when you have the arm up there. But he's so strong, and he was so technically perfect on that submission. It didn't matter.
Do you know who also did that in half guard against Jordan Espinoza? His teammate Alex Perez also got the same exact arm triangle in half guard. They both did amazing. I mean, they worked together, so it kind of, I guess, it went hand in hand.
Yeah. Next fight, we move back to middleweights, and I think a lot of people lost money on this one. You were probably one of them. Omari Akhmedov versus Tom Breeze. I took Akhmedov to win this fight. I'm not sold on Tom Breeze all the way through. And he got subbed back-to-back arm triangle subs. This one, however, he landed. He got all the way across the body and fucking put him out, put him to sleep. He went out. I mean, the ref, it's funny. The ref pulling his arm up, and all I'm thinking is, I've seen a WWE ref.
He has thumb up. If you didn't see it, he
didn't have it up every time. But he pulled the arm up and it dropped.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking WWE, when they do that, and I'm done waiting for him to hulk up, he couldn't hulk up. But an excellent performance by Omari. I mean, a lot of people didn't give him the credit. I think Breeze was a sizable favorite in this one, if I'm correct.
He was a decent size favorite.
Or he was minus 250 or something, or somewhere around that range.
Oh, he was minus 155, but still, that's
155.
Yeah, 155.
Yeah, he got dominated.
I don't know, I don't know.
Landed one strike.
It's weird because, you see him, he has the skills, but his fight IQ isn't there. Like, what he was doing in that fight, you're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to grapple with someone like Akhmedov? You're not going to get him in a submission. He's never been submitted. He's a very good submission grappler. He's a very good grappler in general. I didn't bet on Tom Breeze, but I had the over 2.5 rounds because Akhmedov has never really finished anybody. And sure as shit, the first time he finishes someone, it's the time I finished the over 2.5 rounds.
Minute 41. You were close on that one. There was a good fucking over on that one.
Again, it was a great fight for Akhmedov, and he shows that he is still at the top of the heap in the division, and probably should be at least at the top 15 if he's not already.
Yeah, and it's going to shut down the hype train of Breeze. And again, I wasn't sold on Breeze. I know he had a big win last fight on Fight Island, and he did well, but he's got work to do because people don't consider Akhmedov one of those guys. And when you get beat by that guy that's not considered one of those guys, it should be considered one of those guys. You're going to take a step back. So he's going to take a step back and really go into the gym and work on some stuff. He does work. He works with a good camp. So we'll see what happens when he comes back.
Yeah.
LaRon Murphy, Douglas Silva de Andrade.
Great.
Now, what's funny? When that fight started, Lauren Murphy tweeted, "Of course, I'm going with LaRon Murphy. I'm Lauren Murphy." I thought that was
funny.
Yeah, but he goes out there and gets the win, and again, he won the striking battle. He looked good, man. I like this cat. I like him a lot.
Yes.
He only landed one takedown. De Andrade landed a takedown as well. But per round, I mean, the striking numbers of the fight was basically contested on the feet. He outstruck him in every round. Round 1 by 5, round 2 by 4, and round 3 by 1. So it was a close fight, but it was good for Murphy, I think, to be in a close fight like this. because he needed to be tested in a closely contested battle to see what his mettle is. And I think he showed everybody today that he's somebody that, is going to be on the come up, if you will.
Right.
And, as he gets a little more seasoned, people are going to start dropping in front of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ron Murphy, I was actually on him quite big. I was one of my favorite plays. I actually had him by decision at plus 220. So that was a good play there. But he looked good. He took some real heavy shots from Andrade. So it showed that he has a chin on him. He was able to out grapple Andrade. He was able to. What I was very happy with him is he was able to get up when he was underneath Andrade. He was able to scramble back to his feet, and that's hard to do against Andrade because he's actually really good on the ground. If I'm not mistaken, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's very good on the mat. So to be able to get taken down and get back up from being underneath him, very, very impressive. His striking is crisp and clean. There's some things he could work on, but other than that, I think it's a very impressive performance, and the sky's the limit for him. He's a legit prospect at 145 pounds, and I can't wait to see what's next for him.
Me neither. Next fight, we go back to the flyweights, man. It was good to see a lot of lightweight guys on this lower division out there, division that was going to die. I'm glad to see they're getting the pop. Yes. Matt Schnell, Tyson Nam. I took Tyson Nam to win this fight. Tyson Nam was the betting favorite. But Matt Schnell put on a show that he needed to put on. He outquicked him. His head movement was stellar. He was literally dodging punches. He was pulling his head off the center line every time Nam did throw that big punch. Schnell wasn't there to eat it. He did eat some, one I remember, rocked the mouthpiece for a little bit. He got rocked a few times, but Schnell, just did what he had to do, go out there and work. And, he even said, I outstruck him and I'm handsome. What do you want from me?
Yeah, you can't take anything away from either one of these fighters. They both showed up today. I'm a fan of both of these fighters. I'm a fan of Tyson Nam. He's a great guy, and I love seeing his Manscaped posts that he has. They're super fucking funny. Yeah,
I announced him in a fight. Fight Nights Global. Fight Nights Global. He took on another cat that came over from Kazakhstan that just made his debut in the UFC recently as well.
I know he's actually fighting Zalgas Zumagulov.
Say again?
Zalgas Zumagulov.
Yeah. They fought. And Gulov beat him at Fight Night Global. Yeah. It was cool. I was over in Kazakhstan. What a fucking night that was. And then Nam, Nam looked good, but I think one of the commentators alluded to it, and I think they might have be onto something because of the way he's finished his last couple of fights. I think he might have fallen in love with the big punch and forgot they need to fucking
Well, that's
put the combos together.
That's him in every fight. He's always fallen in love with his right hand, and guys that are like Sergio Pettis,
he's got wins in the octagon.
Yeah, but and then if you look before he got those 2 knockout wins, right? He fought Sergio Pettis and he fought Kai Kara France. Same thing happened, and those 2 fights happened here with Matt Schnell. He was loading up on that right hand, didn't throw enough combinations, couldn't chase down his opponent, couldn't cut off the cage, and they were able to dance around him, throw more than he does, and land more than he does. And Matt Schnell looked phenomenal. He upped his game. He worked hard to get to where he's at. And if he fights like that and his chin is on his shoulders and he doesn't get cracked like he did in previous times, I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he's going to really make some waves because he's got really underrated grappling. As we've seen, he's got a ton of submissions. I think he's got a ton of submission wins. And he's got like 2 or 3 knockouts. So he's very well versed in MMA and upping that striking game the way he did, the way he was in and out with his movements, head off the center line, like you said. He's going to make some strides in the 125-pound division. He's already in the top 10. So hopefully he can get maybe a top 5 to 7 opponent next and see what he's made of.
Yeah, and it was crazy that he didn't use any grappling. Like he stood there to stand with the fucking striker.
I think he wanted to show he's improved,
Here's a kid coming from an MTV show, and fucking people didn't take it seriously. Look what he's doing.
That's where I became a fan of his. I became a
Yeah.
fan of his because of
I
that
remember-
show.
Oh,
It was a
lot of
great
people-
show. It was a great show, and I thought he was going to be in the UFC. He was the only
Let
one
me
that was
reemphasize-
on the show.
Let me reemphasize, he's handsome. Okay. So he could sell stuff. He's got a face to sell gear.
That's true.
So now the next fight, Vivian Araujo and Roxanne Modafferi. I took Roxy to win the fight. I know you're shaking your head at me. Listen, I love Roxanne.
Not about your pick. It's just like the damage that Vivian put on Roxanne. It was just like it was hard to watch.
Did they have stopped that fight?
No.
Okay, then there you go. That goes prove my argument. Roxanne was getting fucked up, and
She was.
So there you go. All right,
She's tough though. She's tough as
I
nails.
win. Dum dum dum.
She was tough as nails though.
So was Cater, and he fucking took a beat.
No. Calvin Kattar is arguably one of the toughest guys in the UFC after that fight. You can't even question his toughness. That's not even in question.
So, but yeah, it was a striking clinic by Vivian Araujo. She really went out there and did exactly what she wanted to do. I think Roxy. I think the problem for Roxanne is she's fallen in love with her striking. And because and listen, when Roxanne first showed up at the Ultimate Fighter and everything in the house and all this stuff, and she was strictly working ground. She really had no striking game. She now has a much better striking game. I mean, 1,000% better than when we first started seeing her on the big show.
Right.
And I think she's trying to prove a point to people, and I think that's going to get her fucking hurt. She's one of the best grapplers in her division. Her grappling credentials are legit. She can work from the ground. I mean, even at the end of the fight when she was on her back, she was throwing up submissions. She got taken down 4 times because she was so focused on striking that she wasn't paying attention to the stuff she needs to pay attention to. I know the guys out at Syndicate, John Wood and all the folks out there, they work hard with her. Everybody loves her. She's definitely a fan favorite. But Roxanne has to go out there and be Roxanne. And I think, again, Felder or, Cormier said it, don't bring the new toys into the octagon all the time. And her new toy is striking for her, because she's trying to become more well-rounded. I think she has to use that striking to a degree, but then when she's not getting the result, you need to fall back on what got you to the dance, and that's your grappling, because she can grapple with anybody.
No, you're completely correct. It's just that it was hard for her to even remotely get in close to do that when Vivian is bouncing her around, not giving her the time of day to actually get in close. She was landing 2-3 strikes as she's trying to get inside. So it was kind of hard for her to really punch her way into the clinch because she's eating like deadly strikes coming in, and her eye was almost swollen shut by the end of the fight. Like she was eating.
In the first round, the eye was swelled up, but again, she never attempted to even attempt a level change. And there were moments in that fight. While she was listen, as well as I do. Sometimes when you go in for that takedown, you're going to eat a punch or two on the way in. It's part of the game. And Roxanne knows that. And there was a few moments in that first round I was watching, and I went back and I rewatched the fight where she actually had the opening, but again, she was trying to prove that she could stand. And I think that's becoming an Achilles for her. She's trying to prove she could stand with some of these girls that she shouldn't try to stand with. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think she would have gotten a takedown either way, though. I mean, Vivian is a really, really good defensive grappler. 94% on her takedown defense. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. So I think she was pretty much beaten in every aspect of the game, whether it was striking or grappling or jiu-jitsu. What?
She definitely was. She was outclassed in every discipline that fight went through. But again, she really. I mean, when she finally did start to shoot takedowns, it was too late at that point. Right. She was already at a position where she wasn't going to get them, but she waited too long. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you can grapple, try to get that out there in the first round. Set the precedent against your opponent, because otherwise, when you have a girl that's like Vivian who can strike and work the ground, and you allow her to get off first, and you don't fucking make any effort to implement your best skill, you lost the fight. And that's what Roxy did. I'd like to see Roxy really put on a little more of her grappling in her next fight. I love that. And I do love that this wasn't a rematch for her. I like that she got a new opponent. And hopefully they'll keep her around. I mean, she had that huge win last year where she fucking, biggest underdog win of the year, for Roxy, when she took out Macy. I mean, fucking, she looked great. So that's the Roxy I want to see. I love Roxy. I hope she gets another fight here soon. And I hope she goes back to her roots. Be the happy warrior and fucking go out there and, do a little grappling, girl. Use your strikes, when you need to, but grapple.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, thanks, Forrest. Forrest's going to go watch on YouTube right now. Fucking, he's moving over to my YouTube channel to watch the show. Could have been watching on Facebook. Next fight we move into, Ike Villanueva and Vinicius Moreira. I took Ike to win. Again, boom. What a fucking fight, man. He just went out there and whoo. It was weird, though, in the beginning of the fight, the strikes, they were being blocked. His opponent was just up there holding his hand and nothing got through. And then late, I want to say it was late in the first, he snuck one around the guard. He came right around the covered guard and he tagged him. When he did that, that changed the tone of the fight because now Moreira, who was trying to avoid the power all the way through, that's why he was covering up like that, he felt that power. And I think it made him fight differently. I think when he felt that power, he said, fuck. And then Villanueva unleashed on him and walk off, no doubt about it, KO. It was fucking beautiful. Eyes in the back of the head. Guy crumbled like a hump. Boom. Woo.
I don't know if
he should got $50K for that.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Definitely. I don't know if that
better than the rear naked sub. I'll always give the knockout when it's spectacular. The performance.
You know why he got that $50K? Because
it's Khabib's cousin.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I mean, there's no other reason let's be honest.
None.
But as far as the fight goes, I don't know if that overhand right really changed the landscape of the fight. It was only a matter of time before Ike was going to put out Vinicius because Vinicius is bad. I mean, the dude is bad. He is epitome of a trash can. Should never be in the UFC. Should never have been in the UFC. This is like his fourth straight KO loss. He's done. He's cut. And good riddance. The dude is he has no stand-up whatsoever. His claim to fame was a submission win on the Contender Series, and that was it. He came in and got steamrolled in every single fight that he's been in. And finally, at least we don't have to see him ever again. At least Ike Villanueva puts on a fight. He goes in there and brawls with people. So win or lose, he at least puts on an exciting fight. And he should have gotten a $50K bonus. Unfortunately, he did it. But at least the good thing that comes out of it, he gets a payday and he gets another fight. At least I hope so. He'll get another fight.
Yeah, and I like that he moved down to light heavyweight. He looked a lot better. He looked better to be in better shape.
Yes.
His cardio looked like it was there. Like if he had to go the distance, I believe he would have.
Yes.
But some of his punches, like, you could definitely see he was trying to find his range. So some of the punches were just a touch to see, how far he had to go. But like I said, he landed one big one, came around the guard, and that changed the tone of the fight because at that point he knew. You saw the fear. You saw the fear in Vinicius' eyes when he got hit like that one. He laughed. When the guy smiles and laughs it off, that he got cracked. And he smiled big and he got cracked. And at that point, that's when the tide changed. That's when Ike knew, all right, now I'm going to go for it. And then he fucking knocked him the fuck out. Very impressive. He's a guy that's from Iridium Management, Jason House and the boys, as well as Ricky Simone and fucking, so those guys are doing well.
And everybody else. And like everybody else. I mean, Jason House has got a litter of fighters.
Quite stable.
Yeah, he's got a litter of fighters. It's
every day.
He's got at least 2 or 3 fighters on every card almost. It seems like.
He's done a phenomenal job at putting his fighters in good positions. And, this pandemic thing really worked out for them because he's been able to fucking supply a fighter chain to the UFC that's endless.
He's doing wonders for all his fighters. Very good job. Kudos to him.
I want to see how strong his clout becomes. He needs to get a champion in there, when he starts getting gold. When he starts getting gold, he's going to have some juice to fucking, demand a few things for his fighters, and I'm going to like that. He's a good dude. His parents were, when he was growing up, his parents raised 28 foster children.
Wow.
So he came from, so that's why he works with people so well, because he was around different people, brothers and sisters through his whole life. What a fucking phenomenal family those guys are, and it translated to him, and he's doing a phenomenal job for his fight. But like a guy like Ike, he's going to take Ike places. So I'm really happy for Ike, really happy for Jason, the guys at Iridium. Next, we move on to a welterweight bout, Warley Alves and Munir Laziz. I took Laziz to win this fight, but Alves was on a mission, and when that bell rang, he came out and let motherfuckers know he was back. And wow, fucking, he folded the kid. Fucking, I think he broke his rib, and then fucking the liver punch, fucking the liver kick, didn't even land on the liver. But Felder said he kicked the elbow hit him in his own liver, and that folded him after the rib break because he took some nasty shots. He'll be back. I'm not worried about that. But he was done tonight. He got outworked by a fucking guy that was on a mission.
Yeah. Obviously, I did not see that coming.
Nobody did, I don't think.
Yeah, Laziz.
Except for Warley.
Yeah, I know. He came out guns blazing, balls to the wall, and that was the right approach because Laziz is a slow starter, as we've seen against Al Hassan. Al Hassan got off on him early and weathered the storm. Couldn't do the same here. Reason being because Laziz can take some shots to the face. So Alves is like, let's go to his body, see if he's got the stomach for it. Nope, he does not have the stomach for it. Broke his ribs, hit that liver, and that's all she wrote.
That's all. The liver just fucking turns your lights out, man. It's such a crazy thing.
Just shuts your body down.
Oh.
Just want the right shot, you're going down. No matter if you can withstand it or not, your body's shutting down, and then
doesn't matter who you are.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
How the liver says, "Fuck you, motherfucker." It's bad. Yep. Main event time: Michael Chiesa, Neil Magny. This fight right here. When I made my pick for this one, I flipped the coin. I love Neil Magny. I love Michael Chiesa. I really. I don't have any personal relationships. I've interviewed both of them over the years, once or twice, but I don't have a personal relationship. So I'm not invested like that. But I respect the hell out of both of them. Magny's always been one of my favorites, because of the way he fights and the willingness to, take, 6 fights in a year. And fucking Chiesa reinvented himself as a welterweight. I think I wish he would have done this, sooner because he'd be a lot further along. But, it happened at the right time for him. And, now he's taking out RDA, former champion. He just took out Magny. Excellent performance for him. He did exactly what he needed to do. I had it 50-45 for Chiesa. I didn't give Magny one round. I think the judges were being generous, giving him a round. I don't think he won a round. So
I think he probably won the third because he did more until Chiesa landed that takedown in the last 45 seconds of the round. But yeah, the other 4 rounds were clearly Chiesa. Very good showing for Chiesa. He did what he had to do, get in there, get the takedowns, and just work his grappling. I like Magny a lot, but
scrambles and the transitions were fucking dope.
Yeah, it was just insanity. And then when it comes to Magny, I have no idea what he was thinking in there. After the second round, it was pretty much his fight to win as long as he kept it on the feet. But he was having his way early in the third round, keeping distance. And then every single time he would initiate grappling. He was the one going for takedowns. He was the one clinching up. He's the one that has a 4-inch reach advantage. He's the one that's the better striker. And he kept deciding to go and initiate grappling. I have no idea what he was doing. His fight IQ, for the first time that I've ever seen him fight, was not on point. It wasn't there. It was just, I have no idea what his game plan was. His coaches were telling him not to do it, and he still kept doing it. He was going for takedowns, and then that's what Chiesa wanted. And he's like, okay, you're going to try to take me down? I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to out-scramble you. I'm going to eventually end up on top no matter which way you see it. You're going to try to take me down? I'm going to end up on top. You try to initiate grappling? I'm going to reverse you. I'm going to take you down. That's exactly what happened. And if he just kept the distance for the last rounds 3, 4, 5, he won the fight, but he decided to go for takedowns. I don't know what he's thinking. Chiesa was tired, yes, but Chiesa is not tired when it comes to grappling. He can grapple for 25 minutes, no problem. He can't strike at distance for 25 minutes. He
No.
can grapple with anybody for 25 minutes because that's what he does. He lives for
Doesn't
that.
matter how tired he is. That's what he'll grapple. I
Exactly.
think my favorite moment in that fight is when they were on the ground and Magny had him in an inverted triangle.
Yeah.
And did you see how he rolled over on the right side? Chiesa did to change the distribution of the weight and the pressure of the hold where the foot was behind the knee. And then he just laid there for me. I mean, he literally had his head down like this, just waited, and then he made his move and he got right out. He was never in trouble. He was never in danger. There was one point where it got a little tight, but because he's such a world-class grappler, he was really not in danger. But that moment right there for me in the fight was my favorite moment because it just showed the level of ability that Chiesa has that we've all known. I mean, he's a submission guy. But it really showed that he is really ready to contend with these guys at the welterweight, up in the upper echelon of the division. And it showed that there are levels to this shit. And there's not a lot of guys, even at the top. You know, there's Gilbert Burns, who can definitely grapple with him. You know, he's a world champion jiu-jitsu guy. But Chiesa's longer. And that's going to come into play with some of these guys when they grapple. I mean, it was really neat to see the two long guys like they are grappling, you know, fucking because there was one scramble where Cormier's young, you know, whoever gets tall on this one is going to win that fucking scramble. And, you know, Chiesa got tall. He got up there, got on top, moved it around right. So impressed with his performance tonight. Like I said, I took Magny to win because I flipped the coin. I didn't know how to pick this one because I just didn't. You know, it was like one of those fights where, you know, fuck, how do you pick this one? Because they both styles make fights, you know.
Right.
And stylistically, Magny should have had the advantage on the feet, but even on the feet, Chiesa was landing some stuff, man. He was coming in and fucking, you know, he had some really good moments in the fight where he was initiating the striking, and he fucking tagged Magny a couple times that I didn't expect to see Magny, you know, get hit like that. Not because Chiesa can't strike, but because of Magny's prowess as a striker and knowing how to move on the center line and get the right foot moving to not eat the bigger punches, but he ate some shots too. So A+ for Chiesa all the way around. And I love the call out of Colby Covington.
Yeah, that would be an interesting fight. I don't know if Colby would take it. He probably would not take the fight because it really doesn't do anything for him. I know he's probably waiting for his fight with Masvidal at some point. That's the fight that he wants. That's the fight that's going to make him the most money. Fighting Chiesa right now really isn't going to do much. I would like to see Chiesa take on somebody like Wonderboy Thompson. That would be a good fight when Wonderboy is healed up from his last fight, because Wonderboy has some really good striking and has shown good takedown defense, and it would be a good test for Chiesa to see if he could take down a fighter in Wonderboy Thompson, and if he can outstrike one of the best strikers in the UFC. I think that would be a great stylistic matchup for both of them. It would be a great fun fight. Especially if you can get that as a 5-rounder too. Definitely a 5-rounder.
Well, excuse me. In the welterweight division right now, and I'm using the MMA Junkie ratings. You know, right now it's Colby Covington. It's kind of weird they have the way this set up today. Is it 1 to 2 to 3 to 4? Oh, I see what they did here. So Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, Masvidal, Woodley. I don't know why Woodley's still ranked there. He shouldn't be ranked that high. Luque, Ponzinibbio, Maya, and again, you know, let me pull up the UFC rankings because I want to see how they have it there.
That's definitely, that sounds way off, like extremely off. Because you still have Leon Edwards at 3.
Right. Well, according to the UFC, but you know he's been moved out because he hasn't fought welterweight. So let's go to welterweight. So in the UFC's official rankings, which, you know, you have to take with a grain of salt, just ask Eric Kowal. He'll tell you all about it. Covington at 1, Burns 2, Edwards 3, Masvidal, Thompson, Woodley. Yeah. Woodley should not be at 6 anymore. No. Maya, Chiesa at 8, Magny at 9. Chiesa will probably move up to number 7. I think he'll move up past Maya, and he might even surpass Woodley. Woodley's been inactive, and he hasn't looked like he hasn't won a fight, so he's got to come down. But it's Chiesa at 8, Magny at 9 leading into today, and then Luque, Jeff Neal, Li Jingling, Bilal. Now, for me, Chiesa, Wonder Boy, definitely that's got to be the next fight because I don't think he has to fight Woodley. Woodley's on a losing streak, so I think he's surpassed where Woodley is in the rankings.
He needs to fight somebody that's winning right now, and that's ahead of him, and that's a Wonder Boy Thompson fight.
Yeah. But if he had to fight somebody that was behind him in the rankings, I
don't think he has. I don't think he has to. He doesn't deserve.
Well, he might have to, but I would like to. Honestly, the matchup that interests me would be against Li Jingling. I think that would be a really cool fight to watch.
He would win that with ease.
Who would?
Chiesa.
Well, Li Jingling just took out Ponzinibbio, correct?
Yeah, but his kryptonite is a grappler. He's lost to Jake Matthews and Neil Magny by straight grappling.
True,
yeah.
But it doesn't mean that
I know, styles makes fights and anything can happen. It's MMA, but as long as Chiesa doesn't get clipped, he should win that fight with flying colors, in my opinion.
But honestly, I like the call out of Covington. My legs straight. Covington's probably going to get Masvidal first.
Yeah, he wants a money fight, and I don't think he should get anything less at this point.
No, he's definitely earned the right to get some good fights like that. There's no doubt about it. But man, you just look at it, you go, damn, I want to see this fucking fight, man. What the fuck, man? Give me the goddamn fight. So, but we'll see.
I want to see that Wonder Boy fight. I think it would be a great chess match because I think Chiesa would be the best grappler that Wonder Boy has fought. Like pure grappler, not just wrestler. We're talking about grappler, a guy that can chain the wrestling and the submissions together. And I think Wonder Boy would be the best striker that Chiesa has fought as well.
Absolutely. So that was UFC on ESPN 20. Great night of fights, or great day of fights, man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that Saturday night 257 is going to be at a normal time for us.
Thank God.
My understanding. Thank God.
I know. I need normal fight times. Come on, guys.
Both of these fights were like fucking. The last two fight cards, I worked all night. I kind of had to come home and fucking get no sleep and watch fights all day, which I'm not complaining about watching fights, but man, it's rough to keep up sometimes. So now we're going to move over to 257. I'm just going to roll through 4 fights on this card. Actually, 5 fights on this card. I don't feel like sitting there picking all of them. But I want to start with the Khalil Roundtree Jr. versus Marcin Pacino. What do you think of that fight?
Roundtree should knock him out in the first round.
I agree with you 100%.
I mean, we even need to go into this more because Pacquiao has gotten knocked out 3 straight times in the first round in all of his last 2 fights in the UFC. He's 0-3 in the UFC. They're trying to give Khalil Roundtree a winnable fight, and they're trying to give Pacquiao his walking stick.
There's some good shit I'm smoking today. Thank God for my dispensary.
And I need some of that.
Matt Frivola versus Ottoman Azatar.
Oh man, that's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a fire fight. If Frivola can withstand the power in the first round, it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a scrap. Frivola's gonna push Azatar's takedown defense, and it's gonna try to drag him into deep waters. It comes down to if Azatar gets the first round finish. If he doesn't, I don't know. Frivola could possibly take over.
Yeah. Man, I got to stop smoking this good shit while I'm doing the show. This fight right here, women's fight, really interesting in this one. Sarah McMahon versus the Venezuelan vixen Juliana Pena. This is a fight that I'm digging. It's 10-4 versus 12-5. They're both 5'6", they're both $135. Pena's got a 3-inch reach advantage. They're both orthodox. Pena's like 9 years younger. The strikes per minute landed is pretty equal. Striking accuracy equal. Strikes absorbed equal. Defense equal. Takedowns. This is where fucking Sarah McMahon, Olympic caliber fucking Olympic wrestler. This is where the fight changes. And 4.5 takedowns average in a 15-minute fight to 2.7. Her accuracy is at 63% versus 51%. Her takedown defense is 66. Pena fucking 28% takedown defense. Her last fight, she lost to Jermaine Durandame. McMahon beat Landsberg. So, and we haven't seen the Vixen in a little bit. This fight right here is an important fight in the division. Even though, it's kind of like, they haven't really been making a lot of noise, but this is an important fight. Pena needs to live up to the expectations that a lot of people have had for her, including herself. So I'm excited about this fight. Probably one of the fights I'm most excited about on the card outside of the main and co-main. What's your thoughts on this one?
It's a very interesting and hard.
Numbers because you're an analyst, and you like numbers.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, it's a hard fight to call because they're both really good grapplers.
McMahon's a better grappler.
Yeah, she is. She is a better grappler, but McMahon's much older. She's known to fade as the fights go on as well. So if Pena can make her work for those takedowns, if Pena can get up after getting taken down, I think she could possibly take over in rounds 2 and 3 by McMahon just completely being gassed out after round 1 of grappling, which we've seen time and time again from Sarah McMahon in the last couple of years. She's getting up there in age, and it's starting to show against the elite competition. Lena Landsberg is not elite.
Yeah. She's almost 40 years old. She was born in like 1980, so she is 40,
So, they're both veterans in the sport, and if I had to take somebody, especially I know Julianne Pena is the underdog here, I'd probably lean towards her. She's been more active as well. She fought the better competition, Jermaine Durandamy, and she really fought her tooth and nail all the way up until that guillotine choke in the third round. It was 1-1 going into that third round. It was really close towards a decision. If it went to a decision, it would probably be a really, really close decision as well. So given that she's fought the better competition as of late, I'm siding with the Venezuelan Vixen here.
Yeah, I think, even if she comes in as a betting underdog, I think I would take the Vixen as well. But there's a little piece of me that doesn't want to sleep on McMahon's seasoning and her octagon experience against the Vixen, who at times in some of her fights, she gets overly aggressive when she shouldn't, and that's cost her.
Right.
And that's where, she's going to make a mistake, and the fight IQ of McMahon is where I think she can capitalize on the mistakes of Pena. Because Pena will make them because, she'll have a moment where something happens and she's like, all right, I'm going to go for it when she shouldn't. And that's what we've seen her do in the past. But, it's a tough, like you said, it's a tough pick. I don't know what the odds are. I haven't looked at them. I don't ever look at odds. I always rely on you for that shit. But it's going to be a tough one to pick. Co-main event, Dan the Hangman Hooker and Michael Iron Chandler. I'm looking at the numbers here. Records are, comparable. Hooker's bigger by 4 inches. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. He can do a switch stance, whereas Chandler's more orthodox. He's 4 years younger than Chandler. Strikes landed per minute, pretty close. Striking accuracy, pretty close. Strike absorbed. Chandler absorbs nearly, a little more than 1 less per fight. Striking defense is about equal. Again, here's where the difference comes in. Takedown average, 0.74 for Hooker versus 2.57 for Chandler. This is going to be an important part of the fight, although I do believe that Chandler, because he does have really good striking, you can't take that away from the guy. And I do believe that this is being his debut, and with the Conor McGregor, Khabib, sweepstakes going on, I think he's going to come out and try to, have a glorious striking performance. He's going to mix in his grappling when he's supposed to, and he's got a high fight IQ. It's really crazy that it took this long for him to get to the UFC, but he's here. So I want to see if he'll follow in the footsteps of Eddie Alvarez, who came over from Bellator and took it out and fucking won a belt. This is a golden opportunity for Chandler to put his name right in the mix immediately. And Hooker, coming off that last loss to Poirier, you don't know how somebody's going to recover. You know that, I know that. And he went through, those guys went through a war. So I'm excited about the fight. On paper, I'm gonna take fucking Michael Chandler. I mean, for me, I'm gonna put Chandler out there to fucking get the win.
Man, I've been back and forth in this fight. Super, super close. We have yet to see Chandler against like legit and top tier competition because Bellator's competition is below the UFC.
That's what everybody said about Eddie Alvarez, and he came in and fucking cleaned house and fucking he took out Gaethje, he fucking won the belt.
Yeah,
so,
but what about Ben Askren when he came over and look what happened to him? He skated by his only first fight where he arguably could have lost or shouldn't have won, and then he got beat to shit after that.
What do you mean he shouldn't have won? He won. Fucking he took his fucking medicine and got punched all over the place.
He wasn't out. That's what I'm trying to get at. Lawler was not out. He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't
out. His arm fucking fell when fucking the ref picked up.
But it wasn't.
It's done. Dude, and his eyes fucking rolled.
Okay. It is what it is. It is what it is. He won that one fight, and then he got beat to shit the rest of the fights, and now he's retired.
Well, he's got a fucking broken hip, dude. Fucking, that he had to have fixed for years and years.
What I'm trying to say is lower tier. He comes from one championship, Bellator, comes here and does absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean he's gonna be the next Eddie Alvarez. Chandler doesn't mean he's gonna be the next Eddie Alvarez because who else has come in here from Bellator and just worked the entire division?
I understand that, but people said the same thing about Strikeforce guys coming in, and Woodley became a champion out of Strikeforce. So there are guys that are special that will
right.
Look where Gaethje came from. Gaethje came from WSOF, really fought nobody all the way up through. Fucking, and he came in and look at that motherfucker.
Justin Gaethje, he's never been finished, and that time in the World Series of Fighting, never. He was never finished.
Listen, I understand that. But again, the level of competition was below where Bellator is even ranked to people. So, and Gaethje jumped from there to the UFC. He had a great knockout record. He came in, Eddie Alvarez beat him, right? Fucking. So, what I'm saying to you is Michael Chandler is one of those guys that's going to come from Bellator and he's going to make a fucking impact. Even Askren. Listen, the first fight, he beat Lawler. He took a beat and he beat Lawler. He fought Masvidal. Let's be real, dude. Fucking 5 seconds. We didn't get to really see anything. I'm not even going to fight. I can't shit on Askren for that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like Masvidal.
But what about the Maia fight where he got outstruck by Maia on the feet?
Yeah, no. That was weak sauce right there. But we'll get to that one. But I'm just saying with the Masvidal fight, 5 seconds. What does that tell you? That Masvidal fucking threw that strike and God was with him and landed it perfectly and catapult him into superstardom. But that's not something I can use as the barometer on Ben Askren. So take that fight away just for a minute. He beat Lawler after taking a beating. He fucking got outstruck by Maia, which was ridiculous. But we all know Askren isn't a great striker. If his hip
outstruck and outgrappled against him.
Well, Maia's a world-class grappler. There's no shame in getting outgrappled by the human backpack.
But then you got outstruck by the human backpack.
That's shameful. No doubt. But again, what I'm just saying to you is if Askren's hips were healthy, I think it'd still be in the UFC. It's not like he wanted to leave because he could capitalize and make so much money right now. You know what I'm saying? But he can't. His health came first. He had to get the hips fixed. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back.
Now he's boxing.
Well, that's a celebrated boxing bullshit. And you could stand and box. You don't have to have the fucking same kind of hip movement and fucking, everything.
He's still going to get knocked out, though.
Well, that's okay. He's going to make fucking $10 million to get knocked out, dude.
Oh, no. That's crazy. There's no way he's going to make that money.
Yeah, they're going to make that money, dude. And you know what the funny thing is? He's going to put it all into Bitcoin. So.
His brother, Logan Paul, is only making $200,000 against Mayweather. Well, Jake Paul is not going to give this man Ben Askren $10 million to box him. It's not gonna happen. But we'll see.
We'll see. Whatever it comes out to. All right, main event time, brother.
But we didn't get to finish. Hold on.
Oh wait, you didn't finish your pick. That's right.
I didn't even finish on Michael Chandler. What I was getting at is, it's a close fight. I want to see what Michael Chandler is made of. He's got great accolades. He's got some great takedowns. He's tough as nails. But the thing is, he's much shorter than the Hooker. Hooker could land that devastating knee as he's coming in for a takedown. And he's got a great camp behind him, at City Kickboxing over there with Volkanovski, Izzy Adesanya, the whole 9 yards over there. They got some great guys, great coaching. So Hooker's going to be ready to hopefully shine and then get to that next level, hopefully get a title shot after this win against Chandler. So he's going to be hyped up for this. It's going to boil down to who implements their game plan the best, because Chandler's not going to want to stand and strike with Hooker at range. He's not going to win this fight, point blank. He's not a good enough striker to beat Hooker in a striking match. No way, no how. He needs to get this fight to the mat, and I really want to see if he's able to implement that game plan. I'm really not going to bet on this fight. I'm going to actually try to live bet this fight and see who's implementing their game plan the best midway through the first round and bet that way.
Yeah.
But we've seen Chandler get finished on numerous occasions, so it's kind of making me lean pre-fight to Hooker's way, but anything could happen. Chandler's still tough. The dude is tough, so it's hard to pick. But if I gun to my head had to pick, I'd probably go with Hooker here.
All right. Well, I'm taking Chandler to win this fight. I think, like I said, I think he's going to go out there and he's going to showcase a lot more striking than people are expecting him to against Hooker, because Hooker's going to want to stand and bang with him, and that's great. But I think Chandler's going to surprise people with that, because again, Chandler knows that if he goes out there and puts on an impressive show, it's something really, spectacular. It's going to fucking win him a lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? So he wants to do it. So I'm excited to see. I also don't think that he's not. I also don't think he's going to abandon his groundwork. But he's going to come out there and strike with fucking Hooker, and he's going to fucking land. He's going to surprise a lot of people with it. That's my take. Main event: Poirier, McGregor. We've seen this before years ago. Featherweight. Now it's at lightweight. I don't know how I don't know how excited I really am for this fight. We've seen it. It's straight up a money fight. We know what it is. But yeah, now with Khabib and maybe, I still don't think Khabib's coming back. I think they should just leave the guy alone. If he wants to retire, leave him the fuck alone, let him retire. With that being said, this is where we're at. So, Conor McGregor has done some amazing things. Dustin Poirier is a different fighter than he was. Dustin will have the advantage if the fight goes to the ground. I don't care what Conor says about how much he trains to the ground. Conor is not a ground fighter. He's got okay takedown defense. But if he gets put on his back, or if fucking gets his back taken, he's done. Poirier can definitely do both of those things, while working the striking game, if he can get in there and get in the clinch. The crazy thing is, the height, they're the same height. Conor's got a little bit longer reach, both southpaws, which I love watching two southpaws fight each other. It's such a funny fucking thing to see.
You want to know the statistic on Poirier and southpaws? I think he's 4-2, hasn't fought a southpaw since Jim Miller in 2015, which was a majority decision, wasn't a unanimous decision, and his 2 losses were knockout losses as well against southpaws, against Michael Johnson and Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm. At 145, a long time ago. I think
he has. What I'm just saying is he hasn't fought a southpaw in quite a while. So it's interesting to see how he does against someone that's in the same stance as him.
Yeah. This is gonna everybody's gonna pick Conor to win this fight. He's won before. So of course that's gonna influence the people. Conor crazies always influence the line. The line moves, because of Conor. Let's be real. I think people are not giving Dustin enough credit to, Dustin's taken on some killers, in his last few fights and, done some great. Him and Hooker, he lost to he lost to Khabib, Nurmagomedov. He beat Holloway, he beat Alvarez, he beat Gaethje. So in his last 5, the only losses to the champ. And he's won all these fights. Holloway's stepping up to lightweight. We talked about he outlanded Poirier and all that stuff, but Poirier was landing the power. I think this fight How last one didn't only go into the first round or a second round, or was it the first round when they
I
first fought?
think he finished him in under 2 minutes.
Yeah. So he's predicting a 60-second knockout. I think this is going to be a slugfest and it's going to be a war. And I think this fight will go well into the third round or possibly the fourth. Don't know if we'll get all the way to the fucking finish. But I think that we're going to see a fucking really exciting fight. Can't make my pick yet. I got to wait till tomorrow. I got to see them on the scale before I make my pick.
Conor knocks him out within 2 rounds.
Damn!
It's just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, Conor is one of the most lethal strikers the UFC has ever seen. He's got the most precision strikes the UFC has ever seen. He's got crazy good power, very underrated power, and people don't give enough credit to what he's done in this sport. I mean, the dude is a world beater. We see, if you go back to just the most previous fight of Dustin, he did not look good in that Hooker fight whatsoever. If that fight lasted just 30 more seconds in the second round, guess what? Hooker was winning that fight. He won that fight in the second round. He got saved by the bell. You're not getting saved by the bell by Conor. If you're getting rocked by Conor, you're going to sleep.
Who won the fight?
But that has nothing to do with it. You got rocked. Period.
No, it does.
It has nothing to do with this fight right here. Doesn't have anything to do with this fight? No. It has nothing to do with this fight. What I'm trying to get at is the dude takes power.
You said Hooker was winning, right? And he was fucking up.
If they fight 30 more seconds second round, period. Point blank. The dude couldn't stand. He was about to get finished in the second round.
Should the ref have stopped it?
No, of course not, because there's only 5 seconds left.
Oh, but he was getting left, bro. He was out on his feet.
It wasn't out on his feet.
It goes back to the thing I said earlier. Never should have stopped. Herb did it right. Didn't stop fucking Max and Cater. I'm gonna hammer you every time I can.
But it's different circumstances here. They're completely different circumstances. Completely different. Completely different. But that's nothing to do with bearing with this fight here. If Dustin gets cracked by Conor, he's going to sleep. He's going to sleep. Period.
You know, I disagree. I don't think he's going to get slept. I think.
And then on top of it, I've seen like Dustin gets countered a lot. He comes lunging in with his strikes. Conor is one of the best at countering off someone coming in. He steps back. He throws that straight left hand. He uses his kicks to get feelers. He moves his opponents whichever way he wants. He'll throw a kick this way. He'll move you to the right. He'll throw a kick this way and move you to your left, just so he can feel you out and then land that left hand. And then he'll follow that left hand with a right hand, and then he'll put you away, just like he did Eddie Alvarez. He follows his punches up. Just like Tyson Nam, he would never follow that right hand up with a left hook. Guess what? Conor follows up that left hand with a right hook, and he'll put your ass away.
Listen, I'm not shitting on Conor McGregor at all. I mean, fucking, you know, he's earned the respect that he gets. You know, he can fight. You know, I mean, he knows what he's doing when he gets in there. But again, I'm not going to make a pick on this till I see them on the scale. I just want to see what they look like face to face. I have to see the eyes on this one because I just have a feeling this fight's going to go a lot different than a lot of people think. You know, I don't think it's going to be a quick knockout for either guy. You know, I could be wrong. You know, it could happen in 60 seconds for either one of them. You know, because again, if Poirier connects fucking flush, he could drop Conor just the same. Poirier doesn't do that as much as Conor. You know, Conor's got a penchant for landing that strike, you know, and fucking dropping people. No doubt about it. But I just think we're going to see a different fight. And
I think Dustin lands a knockout or a knockdown once every 146 strikes from what I've seen. And then Conor lands a knockdown or a knockout once every 45 strikes.
Well, let me see if I can find that number here.
That's on DFS. No, MMA by the numbers on Twitter.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at I'm on
You'd have to do the math if you want.
I'm on metric. I'm just trying to see, you know, if they give me some of this here, but they don't really give me enough of the numbers.
No, MMA by the numbers, he usually breaks down some crazy statistics and throws them out there, and that's one of them. Where Dustin is landing a knockdown or knocked out once every almost 150 strikes, whereas Conor is doing it once under 50 strikes, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy.
So if Dustin thinks he's going to get into a firefight and a brawl with Conor because that's what he wants a bloody brawl, that's the bad recipe for disaster, because it's not going to get to a bloody brawl if you're going to go in there and try to brawl with Conor McGregor. He's too good. He's too technical, and he's way too good at fighting at distance and landing his counter strikes. You're going to want to make it dirty. You want to get inside, use the clinch.
Yeah.
Do some
fight the clinch.
But if he's fighting at distance, thinking he's going to go out there and brawl with Conor, that's a very, very bad recipe.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he's going to try to go out there and brawl.
That's
like
what
that.
That's exactly what he said.
I know what they say, but fucking it doesn't always mean that that's what's going to happen or that's what they're going to do.
Right.
Now, when Conor says it, if Conor says this is what he's going to do,
He's going to
take you to the bank, this is what Conor's going to do. But Dustin fought him before, and I think Dustin is smart enough to make the adjustment. Dustin's fight IQ is there, and he wants this. He wants to get this one back. So I think he might start out where they start banging with each other, but I think Dustin's going to try to work his way into the clinch and implement that dirty boxing that we need to see from him to make the fight nasty on the inside. Not saying he's going to be successful even getting it done, but I think that's going to be the game plan we're going to see. Because I think he knows if he stands and fucking just tries to stand in the fucking center of the octagon and get into a firefight with fucking Conor McGregor, that's a bad game plan.
I think he's going to be as anxious and have a ton of anxiety as he did against Khabib in his title fight. I think the bright lights.
I don't think so.
In the main event against such a polarizing figure in the UFC for a chance of possibly going to win for the belt again in the spot. You don't know if it's for the belt. You don't know if it's for a chance to fight for the belt. But either way, it's a very, very big opportunity for him. A lot of money is on the line as well. I think the pressure is going to get to him because the pressure got to him against Khabib. It overwhelmed him. And it really got to him very, very fast. And you saw that. He was very tentative with his striking. And I think kind of more of the same is going to happen in this fight. In a fight like against Hooker or Justin Gaethje, where not much is on the line other than he's got to go in there and do his job, he was able to be relaxed and fight his game plan. But against somebody like a Conor or like a Khabib, there's a lot on the line. There's a lot of people or there's a lot of eyes on you. It's a big fight. There's a lot to fight for, and he tends to fold in big fights. So we'll see what kind of Dustin Poirier comes for this weekend. Yeah,
I think because he's danced with McGregor before, and that mental stress and anxiety you're talking about of the moment being too big for him, I don't think that's going to affect him because he's done this with Conor before. It is a big moment for him, and there is a lot on the line. But again, he's more mature than he was the first time he fought Conor. He's improved as a fighter since he fought Conor the first time. Like I said, I think we're going to see a lot more of a fight than a lot of people think. I'm not even saying that he's going to win, but I think we're going to see more of a fight from both of these guys. I think this is going to be a gritty fight. And honestly, that's what I want to see. I want to see these guys fucking dance for a few rounds, fucking, make it worth my fucking $69 or whatever the fuck they're charging me for this goddamn thing, No,
yeah, you're right. I mean, when you have such a steep pay-per-view price, you don't want an early knockout in the main event, the fight that you've been waiting, weeks, maybe even months for. So you kind of want to see prolonged. You want to see a back and forth brawl. You want to see a battle between the two. So I wouldn't be too opposed to it. But then again, if I'm betting money, I'm hoping Conor knocks his ass out in 30 seconds.
I'm more excited about the co-main, honestly, than the main event because I've seen this main event before. This is this unique co-main event, and there's a lot on the line for these guys as well.
Yeah, you're right.
So, again, it's the debut of Chandler in the octagon. There's so much more of a story behind this fight than the main event. Yeah. So, that's what gets my my fucking juice flowing. I'm like, yeah, man, fucking something we haven't seen. Because the one thing I am kind of bored with is seeing the same things over and over again. Seeing these rematches happening. there's plenty of guys out there where we don't need to see rematches. So I want to see fresher fights, So this is a fresh fight, and it's gonna, like I said, I think this fight's gonna deliver.
Yeah,
So
no, it's going to be a banger. The co-main and main events are going to be absolute bangers, and I'm excited for UFC 257. I'm excited to get back on track as far as betting wise because I know I'm going to make money. I know I'm going to profit. I know my clients are going to profit. We're going to make all this money back that I lost the last 2 fucking cards, but it is what it is. New day, new card, new money to be made. I'm excited for fights. I'm excited for money to be made.
New day. WWE shit for you just right there.
I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get the bowl on the road on the show, whatever they want to call it. It's only a couple days away. 3 more days. I'm excited. We're almost there. Halfway through the fight week. I'm ready to go. I'm fucking ready.
All right. So what's the free pick for the people watching? Give us one.
Oh fuck! I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Fuck. Let me look at my phone.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, because I'm trying to remember all the fights off the top of my head.
Man. You store a lot of knowledge up in your head, and you're fucking really well represented. But once in a while, you got to go to the phone, man. You got to go to the phone.
Yeah. Shit.
There's too many numbers in your head, you're gonna explode, dude. I want you to explode.
Tell me about it, man. I try to memorize it all. It ain't that easy. Damn. Fuck. You know what? Do you know what? Damn, I don't like that either. The line sucks. Shit. You know what? 'Cause I don't like majority of these fights, to be honest with you. I really don't. But I'm going to take Movsar Evloev, or whatever you want to call it, Evloev, to win by decision at minus 145.
Okay, that's the fight. Yeah, that's a free one, kids.
Yep, I think that's a good line. I didn't want to give out too much juice, and I even got another one because I kind of liked it when there was first.
You guys, fucking, this is unprecedented. 2 freebies from the Fight Analyst.
Just because I'm feeling in the given mood after today. I feel confident in this play as well. When it was first booked a couple months ago, and I like Zalgis Zumagulov at minus 115 over Amir Albazi.
Yep, I like that fight too. Fucking yeah. Do you see the message I sent you?
No. Where did I? No, I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's a private chat. You should see it. There's a message there.
Not yet. Still working things out.
That's okay. Don't even gotta say anything. Just say not yet, and I'm good.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself. I just thought about it. I was like, oh, maybe we should talk about that, but we'll save that for another day. Well, listen, Holmes, good chatting with you as always, man. I think we had 2 people watching us today, so that's better than the last time, I guess. I don't know, man. But thanks for taking the time.
That's all that matters. I'll post it everywhere. People will check it out. Don't worry.
All right, cool, man. But listen, I just want to say thanks for taking the time breaking down fights with me. I love chatting with you, dude. I love picking your brain. It's always good stuff, man. That is the Fight Analyst, guys. You can find them on Facebook under the Fight Analyst, Twitter, Fight Analyst, right?
Yep.
Just Fight Analyst, not the.
No, unfortunately, someone took that. So, I'm just Fight Analyst on Twitter.
What a dick. That guy.
And even post on this. Son of a bitch.
Maybe you could buy it from him.
Yeah, I don't think they even they haven't posted in forever. So who knows? Maybe I could try. I don't know.
Maybe, dude, listen, sometimes that'll work. Say, look, man, fucking, you ain't doing shit with this, man. I've been doing this for a while, man. Can I buy the handle from you?
Maybe. I'll check it out.
You just never know. So, well, listen, man, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight, man, and talking fights with me. Always a good time. I love doing it. I hope you have a wonderful night and enjoy Fight Island one more time on UFC 257 this Saturday. It's the return of Conor McGregor. Says he's going to make a run at lightweight like he did at featherweight. We shall see. McGregor, Poirier, fucking Hooker, and Chandler, going to be good stuff. Max Holloway, whatever your take is on Max Holloway and getting that fight against Volkanovski again, and your thoughts on, are you overly impressed with the fucking work he did, or are you a little underwhelmed because he didn't finish? We talked about that. Fights today, UFC, ESPN 20. Those were fucking awesome. You know what? I do want to say one other thing. Last week we saw UFC on ABC, and the first time the UFC was on ABC on regular network TV. And I want to tell you, everybody's favorite, everybody goes, oh, that was the biggest deal of the day. But you know what's more important to me? Seeing fans in the stands in the UFC show. Yep. That was fucking awesome. That really fucking resonated. It just gives me hope that we're going to get back to where we want to be. There were fans at the last fight. There'll be fans at this one. They're probably going to break the limit of what they're allowed to have at 257. They're going to add more people to it. I think, the 2,500 or 2,800, there'll be 5,000 to 7,000 people in that arena. Mark my word. I mean, there's too many people that want to see Conor fight that have money and cheddar to get in, and Dana's going to let them in. And I hope they do, because I want that place rocking as much as they can. It's nice to hear fans in the stands. I mean, I do local regional shows, so I get fans in all our stuff. I got XMMA coming up on the 29th and 30th. I'll be in South Florida at West Palm. So it's a streaming-only event. I will post all the stream information when I get down to South Florida next week. James Vick is on the card. Mo DeReese, fucking Kyle Boshniak, Christopher Curtis. A lot of big names on this card, man. These guys are sparing no expense to bring in a big card. They're looking to do 3 shows this year. I'm going to be ring announcing for them. Honored to get that assignment. So I'm dopely happy. I'll be in Pensacola for the 13th of February for Island Fight 66. Huge amateur show we got going on. We got BKFC coming into town, and they'll be here for the Knucklemania. It is not BKFC 16. It is Knucklemania. They'll go back to numbers after Knucklemania. Knucklemania will be an annual thing. Most likely will follow the Super Bowl cities. At least that's what Feldman told me when I saw him at the tryouts on the 9th. That's the thought behind it. So I like it. What's the word I'm looking for? A premier event for them. If I can standard, like UFC's end of the year show or WWE WrestleMania. A big show that they're going to do every year and just stack it out. And I'm digging that. So I'm all over shit, dude. We got a lot of shit going on, man. Garrett's going to be around doing some stuff, man. Like I said, check out the Fight Analyst, on all social media platforms. It's Fight Analyst, except on Facebook. He's got the Fight Analyst, so that's cool. And he'll get the Fight Analyst from the Twitter people who don't fucking use it. Maybe we should start a GoFundMe to buy that for you.
Maybe that'd be nice.
All right, cool. We'll start that up. Hashtag fucking give him the.
Give me the.
Give him the. You don't need Fight Analyst. You need the. You need the.
I need my the back. Give me that the.
I gotta get Sherrod Blackledge on to fucking do a little beatboxing for me here soon. Anyway, brother, you have a wonderful night, man. Hopefully next time I see you, those wires will be cleaned up.
Oh, hopefully. I'm trying. This weekend, hopefully.
Yep. Well, listen, enjoy the night, man, with your fam. And like I said, man, thanks for taking the time, and we'll talk to you again real soon, brother. Peace.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Later.
Yep. Boys and girls, that was the Fight Analyst, Garrett Kerman, man. I love that dude, man. He's awesome people. We had a good time tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you watched it live, if you go back and watch it later, thanks for taking the time to watch it. We talked about a lot of stuff. Appreciate you all hanging out with us tonight, man. So there you go. With that being said, man, like I say, every time we do this show, man, thank you for letting me be a part of your lives today, and for you guys being a part of mine, and allowing that to happen. I can never truly put into words what that means to me, but just know I'm grateful right here in the heart. We will see you next time. I'm going to be doing a show Tuesday. Kyle Boshniak and Christopher Curtis will join us, as well as UFC star Mike Beast Boy Davis. And that's it. So that's going to be Tuesday. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, I am Christopher James. You have been Cage Side. Good night, everybody.
What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on, because we got some good stuff.
Go with the deuces. There you go, baby.